So in the last few lessons, we had talked about functions and how that works with the variables. So we've got these global variables, and then we've got these local variables that are local only within the function. So within this lesson, we're going to go over that in a little bit more detail. And it's important to understand this because when you are working with variables, and if you do by chance use the same one within a function, we're just going to quickly show you what happens there. So if I already have my last name is already declared and maybe my full name is already declared, so if I do something like this, full name equals, I'm just going to put wrong name. So now I've called it the same thing, and we see that within our example actually nothing has changed. Even though we're reusing this value, this full name, because we're declaring it here within the actual function, and this is what we're outputting, it doesn't actually overwrite that one. So when we do something like this, it's because I'm using inner HTML that I'm actually able to put HTML. So if I do something like this and full name, just to show you what happens. So even though we called the function and we set a new full name, we gave it an entirely different value, this value again only lives within the function. And even though that we've called it the same thing, we still have a value of full name. And this just goes to illustrate the point that these are local. Anything in here is local. So I'm just going to put local full name, and then this is going to be the global full. And that's how you differentiate the two. So just think of this as this only lives within here, within this bracketed space, but this full name lives within everything. And again, when you start to create more complex functions and work with variables in more complexity, it's going to become really important to kind of keep track of this. And usually it's not a good idea to have the same variable declared here as you are declaring globally. So always try to keep that in mind when you're trying to think of a naming scheme for your JavaScript, to try to keep things separate, that you're not reusing the same one, because even though it will work, it could lead to confusion down the line. And again, you got to always think of, when you are writing code, what's going to happen if I come back 6 months down the line, I've got my application up and running, and all of a sudden I have to make a quick change to it, and I'm looking at full name here, returning full name. This is just going to get really confusing. So try to avoid confusion. Have a good naming scheme. It's going to really save you time and frustration in the long run. And again, also tidying the code is always a good idea as well, to make it more readable when you do look at it